Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa akin.
And then just globally, do you have a sense of, like, sorry, I'm not trying to give you an ego here, but like if you look at the numbers on YouTube for like the pre-tournament press conferences.
She stopped the match for this Eala's heartbreaking hug with a disabled fan stunned the Qatar Open audience. And on top of that, her shocking comeback in Dubai has left the entire tennis world in awe. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cortiva Tennis, your #1 destination for the most electrifying, deeply human stories in professional tennis. Today we are not talking about forehands, backhands, or scoreboards. We are not debating serve percentages or ranking points. Instead, we are here to focus on the moments that stop time, the moments that reach through a television screen, grab you by the heart, and squeeze until the tears flow. Emerging from the Qatar Open is a story that is absolutely captivating the internet right now, a story so powerful it cannot be ignored, breathtakingly pure, devastatingly raw, and profoundly human. This story has left millions around the world openly weeping. It revolves around the undisputed pride of the Philippines, the extraordinary Alexandra Eala, and a 72-year-old grandmother who risked everything for one final burning wish, a single magnificent hug, a hug that was felt and heard across the globe. And that's not even the full story, as if the universe itself were scripting the most dramatic screenplay. Alex's redemption arc continues to unfold live in Dubai with details so unbelievable you'll have to hear them all to believe them. Take a deep breath, settle in, and hold on tight. This is Champions Tennis, and this is the story of the hug that changed everything. Picture Court 3 in Doha, Qatar. The Qatar Open, one of the most prestigious early-season tournaments on the WTA calendar, known for its glittering desert skyline, fierce competition, and the stifling heat that hangs over the city like a warm, invisible blanket. The stakes are always high, and the tennis is always fierce. Thousands of fans cram into the stands, their cheers vibrating through the soles of your shoes while cameras flash and the air thrums with anticipation. Yet amid this enormous chaotic sea of faces, there was one quiet, solitary figure, Eala, 72, from the sun-baked rural landscapes of Victoria, Australia, sitting perfectly still. She wasn't there for the glamour or networking. She was there for something far more meaningful. Eala wasn't there for opportunities, corporate hospitality suites, or the chance to be seen. She was there for something far more personal, sitting in a wheelchair, her legs rendered powerless by a chronic, debilitating illness she had battled quietly for years. Eala carried herself with the dignity of someone who had learned to endure pain without showing it to the world. For her, this day was more than a tennis match. It was a pilgrimage, the finish line of a grueling, exhausting journey that had drained every ounce of her physical energy and every last cent of her carefully guarded savings. Eala carried a dream, a simple yet blazing wish that had kept her going through the darkest and most painful days of treatment. She wanted to see Alexandra Eala, the young Filipino warrior who had quietly and profoundly become her reason to keep fighting. To Eala, Alex was not just a tennis player. She was a beacon of light in genuine darkness, living proof that someone could rise above hardship and inspire hope, knocked down again and again, yet refusing to stay on the ground. Alexandra Eala embodied a relentless, defiant grit that Eala recognized as intimately personal, a refusal to surrender that mirrored her own daily battle. And so Eala did something few in her situation would ever dare, living on a modest pension and already stretched thin by the unrelenting costs of her medical care. She made a decision born of pure, desperate love. She took the commemorative necklace her late husband had given her decades ago, a precious heirloom holding a lifetime of memories, laughter, sorrows, and a love that had endured beyond death, and sold it. She sold the last tangible piece of her past, the final physical connection to her husband, to buy a single ticket to Court 3, to spend a few hours in the same space as Alexandra, to see her with her own eyes, and to witness the moment that would stop the world. From the very first point, the match was electric. The crack of the ball against the racket echoed like gunshots across the court. Alex was locked in, fully absorbed, her eyes sharp, her feet moving with practiced precision, reading every play with absolute focus. Alexandra Eala fought for every angle, every point, pouring herself completely into the match with the intensity that has become her signature. The crowd was alive with energy, the stadium crackling with excitement. But then something shifted, a subtle moment almost missed by the cameras during a brief lull between points. Her eyes drifted to the sidelines and stopped. They locked onto the frail, still figure in the wheelchair Eala. Alex did not know her name. She did not know that Eala had traveled all the way from rural Victoria, Australia, or about the chronic illness, the years of silent suffering, the stretched pension, or the late husband's necklace sold to fund that seat. Yet the human soul has a remarkable way of speaking without words. Perhaps Alex saw the way Eala leaned forward in her chair, knuckles white as bone gripping the armrests, or the tears shimmering in her eyes, a combination of physical pain and unbearable hope, unlike any other expression. In that instant, the match, the points, the rankings, all of it ceased to matter. All else evaporated. The scoreboard faded into meaningless numbers. None of it was real anymore. Only Eala was real. The entire stadium watched in stunned silence as Eala stopped mid-match. She did not move to the service line, reach for her towel, or sip water. She did not consult her coach or reset in any usual way. Instead, she placed her right hand deliberately over her heart in a gesture of profound, wordless gratitude, so powerful that several front-row spectators began to cry before understanding what was happening. Then, without hesitation, she ran, not walked, not jogged, at full sprint toward the sidelines, toward Eala. Security flinched. The chair umpire leaned forward. In uncertainty, the crowd held its collective breath, but Alex did not stop until she reached the wheelchair. There, in front of thousands of stunned spectators, rolling cameras, and flashing photographers, the young superstar wrapped her arms around the 72-year-old grandmother in a tight, fierce, almost desperate hug, a hug that transcended cameras, generations, continents, languages, and social divides. The stadium, once a roaring cauldron of sound, fell into a silence. So complete it was as if a pin could drop and echo across the court. Then Alexandra whispered 3 words into Elena's ear, 3 words no camera could capture, but ones Eala has since shared with anyone willing to listen. Thank you for coming. The silence shattered. It erupted into a thunderous standing ovation, louder, more intense, and more emotionally charged than any match point or trophy presentation in years. Strangers embraced each other, tears flowed freely, and Eala, overwhelmed by the miracle she had sold everything to witness, wept with trembling hands, clutching Alex, holding on to a moment of pure, unfiltered human connection, a moment that carries the weight of a world. This moment is now trending on every major social media platform across the globe. From Manila to Melbourne, London to Los Angeles, Tokyo to Toronto, it has appeared on front pages, in television news segments, and even in private group chats of people who have never watched a single tennis match yet instinctively know they are witnessing something extraordinary. But to grasp the full weight of this hug, we need to understand where Eala was both professionally and emotionally when it happened. It is February 2026. At 20 years old, she is no longer just a promising junior or future prospect. She is a legitimate contender for the biggest titles in women's tennis, knocking loudly on the door of the global elite. She recently reached a career high ranking of world number 40, a testament to years of relentless, unglamorous work across hundreds of matches in dozens of countries. She is the undisputed pride of Southeast Asia, a region long hungry for a true tennis icon. The pressure on her every time she steps onto a court is immense. When Alex plays, it is not just Alexandra playing. Millions of Filipinos wake at 3 a.m. huddle around buffering live streams, pray in living rooms, dorms, and break rooms, and carry their hopes alongside hers. She bears the dreams of every young Filipino girl who has ever picked up a racket, imagining grand slams and glory. Coming into the Qatar Open, expectations were sky high. She had just delivered a magnificent run in Abu Dhabi, reaching the quarterfinals in singles and semifinals in doubles, playing with a confidence and clarity that signaled she was ready for the next stage of her ascent. 2026 could be the year Eala truly breaks through. By every measure, she was playing the best tennis of her career. Then the Qatar Open began. In the first round, she faced Teresa Valentova, the rising Czech star known for her aggressive baseline game and remarkable composure. It was a genuine battle. Alex pushed the first set all the way to a tiebreak, displaying the grit and determination her fans adore, but the tiebreak slipped away in agonizing fashion. The second set collapsed quickly, leaving her with a crushing 6-7-1-6 defeat, a brutal premature exit from a tournament where she had legitimate hopes of going deep. Critics were immediate, and relentless voices of doubt flooding social media. Can she handle the biggest stages? Is the pressure of expectation too heavy? Is the weight of a nation's hopes grinding her down? The noise was deafening. Now picture this physically and emotionally exhausted, frustrated, and disappointed, facing the quiet, dark voice in her head, questioning herself. Most athletes in that moment would retreat, headphones and eyes down. Walking off the court, Eala did something entirely different. She saw Elena. She ran toward her, and that moment tells you everything you need to know about the character of this young woman. The hug was not a publicity stunt, not a calculated move. It was a pure human act that revealed her heart, courage, and empathy in the most profound way possible. The hug was not a publicity stunt nor a calculated act of brand management. It was a 20-year-old professional athlete moments after a devastating loss, finding within herself the capacity to look outward, recognize another person's pain, and choose connection over retreat, a statement of character no scoreboard could ever measure. And now we arrive at the part of the story that belongs in a Hollywood screenplay. A screenwriter submitting these events would be told it was too perfect, too convenient, too inspirational to be believable. But this is not fiction. In real life, when it decides to tell a great story, life does not apologize for drama. After the emotional whirlwind in Qatar, the first-round loss, and the viral moment with Eala flew to Dubai for the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, one of the most prestigious WTA 1000 events of the calendar. She needed to reset, to breathe, to clear the noise from her mind, and find the version of herself that had played brilliantly in Abu Dhabi just weeks before, and perhaps, just perhaps, that hug with Elena gave her something no coaching session, tactical analysis, or physical training ever could. A profound emotional fuel, a reminder of why she plays, and the courage to rise again. Perhaps it reminded her in the most visceral and undeniable way of the pure primal joy that first drew her to a tennis racket. Perhaps knowing that a woman had sold her most precious possession just to see her play ignited a fire in her belly and clarity in her mind, transforming the way she walked onto a court. Elena may not have been physically present in Dubai, but she was there in the way all significant human encounters remain, as a weight, a reminder, a guiding clarity of what truly matters and why. When Alex stepped to the baseline against Cersei, when match point pressured down like a physical weight, she carried with her the knowledge that a 72-year-old woman had given everything to witness her play. That was not a burden, it was a gift, the clearest answer to the question every athlete must confront: why am I doing this? Eala was doing it for Elena, for every person who has found light in someone else's fight during a dark moment, for herself at 20 years old, magnificent, and only beginning to understand her potential. Somewhere in rural Victoria, Australia, in a small house, missing the necklace that once held decades of memories, a 72-year-old woman sat in front of a television, crying at every point and cheering loud enough to fill the silence of an empty room. Across all the upsets, comebacks, rivalries, controversies, and chaos that make professional tennis compelling, the story of Alex and Elena is one that transcends sport. It is about how greatness reveals itself not just in skill, but in the character, heart, and humanity that underlie every moment of triumph. This story is ultimately about presence and empathy, the way a person's humanity can shine through every interaction. It is about how suffering can coexist with hope, and how hope can survive even the deepest material losses when anchored to someone who represents the possibility of transcendence. It is about how a single authentic moment of connection, a running embrace on a dusty court in Doha, can ripple outward in ways neither the giver nor receiver could have anticipated. Above all, it is about perspective. In the pressure cooker of professional sport, athletes are taught to eliminate distraction, to focus inward, to treat every loss as a catastrophe and every opponent as an obstacle. Yet Eala, at just 20, chose to look outward, to see the human being in the wheelchair, and to run toward her. Many athletes twice her age never fully absorb that lesson, that the stakes of the scoreboard, however real, are dwarfed by the stakes of human connection. When you internalize that truth, match points do not get easier. They become easier to play. As Alex continues through the Dubai Championships and the extraordinary chapters of 2026, we are reminded to watch differently, to see the player as much as the ball, to honor the courage, vulnerability, and improbable grace that underlie every point. We cheer not just for winners and break points, but for moments like the one she gave Elena, moments that transcend the scoreboard and reveal why sport matters. Somewhere in rural Victoria, in a quiet house, missing the necklace that once held decades of memories, a 72-year-old woman watches every point, crying and cheering as Alex carries the weight of a nation and the memory of a hug onto the court in Dubai. This is the beauty of tennis, the beauty of sport, and exactly why we are champions tennis. Your voice matters. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, celebrate the story of kindness and courage, and witness history in the making. Smash that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this story with everyone you know, because moments like these remind us that the world still contains breathtaking, uncalculated, completely genuine human decency. Keep your heads up, hearts open, and never underestimate the power of running towards someone who needs you. This is Courtiva Tennis. We'll see you on the court.
Alex, after a terrific year last year, how does it feel to be making your main draw debut at Melbourne?
It feels great. I'm super excited, coming in.
Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open.